Hello, and today is May 14th, 2022. It is a Saturday, so you know what that means. It's another episode of Misfits of the Galaxy, a vlog series in which I ramble and amble about a possible or prospective campaign I intend on running for my fellow members of the Isle of Misfit Roles. If you haven't heard of us before, I'll put links down below. We've been a podcast group for about 2.5 years now, and we've recently transitioned over to a Twitch live stream, which I will also include there. So there's multiple formats to digest our content in. We'd really appreciate if you subscribe. Anyways, this is our 20th or my 20th episode, and so I thought I'd do something completely different, and I brought on a guest. This is Adam, the player of Almas from our Isle of Misfit Roles game, and we're going to do like a Q&A session since he's been digesting the content from this vlog. He's got a bunch of questions that he wants to ask about it, and so without knowing what he's got in store for me, I thought, let's do this as because it's the 20th episode. It's something special. So by all means, Adam.
Yeah, I've got some good ones here for you. A mix between me and Mike. So I'll just go through it. First one.
Yeah.
What are so I was listening back to him, refreshing myself, and you were talking very early on
Hmm.
about abundance, which is like the home world of the halflings, and
Yes.
they adopt orcs and all that, which is really cool.
Hmm.
Do you have more ideas on planets specifically that are like here's like it's like a Star Wars world, like here's the biome of the planet. Do you have like ideas for here is a planet? And
Yeah.
we've talked more about them, but do you have more in the future?
Yeah. I got like, for example, I spoke briefly on Thanos, the Necropolis world, obviously. Uh, I've spoken briefly on the orc one of what is it? I believe it is called. Checking my notes here. Is it Draukari, if I recall correctly? And then we
Mm,
have. I've written up information on some of the Elven worlds. In the, it's called the Arvendor system, is where the primary star system with the multiple worlds on it. One for basically each type of elven subspecies. And I've also created Abier, the home world of the dragons and the dragonborn as
mm,
well. And while I haven't revealed details on that one yet, I intend to in the future. Same with the world. I might go world by world for the Arvendor system once I have a bit more details on them.
you should. I like the whole idea of here's what this planet is, so let's keep that up.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely should go back to doing those episodes because those were a lot of fun. But you gotta really have a good idea as to what you're doing with it, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Another good one. So remember when you made a direct reference to the campaign we're playing now,
Yeah,
talking about the Burn Legion and the leader being named Tavruk after this old hero that they had heard about.
yeah.
Uh, how do you feel about callbacks to first campaign? Like, how do you feel about it, and how many do you like plan to have? What's your whole thought process on
Well, when I started
callbacks?
doing this, and I started bit by bit showing people from the All Misfit Roles what I was doing here on this channel with this vlog, I spoke to Mike about it. And I said, and initially I was just going to do Misfits of the Galaxy. It was going to be a completely different campaign, like no connection whatsoever per se, right, to the initial one. But then Mike said, "So like this is like I'll miss her roles in the future," and I kind of sat there and I blinked for a moment and said, "Sure, why not?" Sort of deal. And so like. The idea is now that it's taking place thousands upon thousands of years in the Isle of Misfit Roles setting, and the planet of Vertes or the world of Vertes is just like one of thousands upon thousands or tens of thousands of worlds throughout this galaxy, right? Called the Verse. And so, with the shout outs to previous references from our campaign, the Isle Mr. Rolls campaign, I don't mind doing a few of them, like here and there, like some quick references. But I don't know necessarily that, for example, every character needs a shout out like, oh yeah, this is for like Tali, this is for Chakunatuk or Bach, or this is for Aviana or Tay or something like that. It's like not all the not a shout out for every character does not necessarily make much sense, but just occasionally inserting something fun and amusing just to see like a player's reaction, like Jake with the entire thing, like the Burn Legion, their leader, their warlord is named Tavrok, named after a great hero from a long lost war, right? And all I can see is him going, "Fuck yeah!"
For sure. Yeah, I agree. Like having them in there, not overdoing it
Yeah.
is fun. Um, so yeah, that'll be cool to see what other things that you put in there.
Yeah.
So this one, I know specifically. I asked you this before, but this is a multi-part one, so I'm gonna
Hmm.
say it all, but then you can answer whatever
Yeah.
parts. So ideas on space travel. So that means mechanics,
Hmm.
maybe ships, or like a person. Like, do we build out our ship? Da, 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 whatever, and then rolled tables for being in space. Like, how do you imagine space and ships work?
So I'll have a list of starting ships per se. Like these are vessels that the group can pick from as to what ship they want to start with per se, and I'll insert it into the campaign in an appropriate fashion for them to have access to it. You can upgrade them. You can clearly get rid of the ship you have if you find like or somehow acquire a better one. They can get badly damaged, need repairs. The entire idea of the ship is it's almost like another character that's controlled by the entire group instead of one player, right? And I really hope it works out that way. And when it comes to travel, there's going to be the two types. There's going to be the standard travel where the ship is slowly making its way across the galaxy, which is long and tedious. But most of the travel you're going to want to do is through the Maw stations, where it's almost like a hyperspace lane per se, where you go in one end and you come out another, like typically a few minutes later, and you've passed over hundreds of light years at that point, right? Uh, I haven't really decided, like when it comes to ships, whether or not they'll be able to make landfall. Like some of the ships are probably designed in such a fashion that entering the atmosphere of a world would be a really, really bad idea, not just for the ship, but quite possibly the world itself.
Hmm.
Um, and it's a kind of pseudo magic, like I call it magitech, like part magic part tech for these things. So yeah, they can go nuclear, I suppose. uh, Anything else about that I can think of off the top of my head? I think
uh,
I think
yeah, go ahead.
most of it's going to be. I want most of this campaign to be an exploration one, where it's like, I want to go to this world next. I want to go to that world next. I want to check this thing out. Sort of deal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Kind of leads into another question, because I mentioned, like roll tables for random encounters, or whatever.
Yeah.
But what kind of roaming space monsters? So, like, yeah, like if we're traveling, because like you said, exploration. Are there What are things that can randomly happen? Or don't have to go too specific because that'll be a
So
surprise. But
you can. There's an exploration guild that tries to chart out new territories and worlds and what have you. Uh, Not every world within the galaxy has been explored. There's vast chunks of space that left unexplored. Some of it is because it's a magic dead zone, and some of it just because no one's gone there. And as I said in one of the earlier episodes, a lot of the magic dead zones drift. And so all of a sudden you might find yourself with a world or two that is previously unexplored that is no longer in a dead magic zone, which allows ship travel to it, right? Additionally, in the episode I was discussing, the world of Thanos, there's the entire mention of the abyss spilled out into the material realm of the galaxy, and now you have demons lurking in like these dark spaces between stars, which makes traveling between stars exceedingly dangerous because you might encounter a demonic incursion if you're not using the Maw Station space travel, right? Also, there are uh, like I guess cosmic scale dragons and leviathans lurking in the dark of space. Civilizations that have yet to be discovered. Some may have actually developed space travel, and no one's actually encountered them before because they're so far away. They were so far away from a Maw Station gate that they're not part of that network, right? Most of the civilized, in quotations, species of the verse or the galaxy are pretty clustered around said gates because they use that to travel from point A to point B. Uh, with the exception of the gnomes that had to leave their home world to get out there to the point where they could actually access the the Maw Station hyperlanes, or I should say void lanes, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah. Mall
Mm-hmm.
stations. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's a whole bunch of things you can encounter. You can encounter like mysterious, ethereal or mystical storms. You can encounter like dragons on a scale that is previously unfathomed because these are these are galaxy or galactic dragons that are like the size of your ship or whatever, or if not more
Mm.
so. You can encounter, like I said, other species of not just intelligent life, but maybe even primordial entities like stuff that you tip it, aberrations and what have you, demons. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there. Space is a very dangerous place to be.
You love to hear it.
Hmm.
That's great. Real quick one.
Yeah.
I have the good idea. What kind of leveling system do you plan to use?
What kind of what?
Leveling system.
Um, I think for this game it might be better off to give uh, I've been playing around with it. I was initially I was thinking to go with milestones, but I'm thinking XP rewards would probably be better off for this one. On the
Ooh.
simple grounds is I can give XP rewards for something like you discover a planet that previously unexplored planet and what have you. Here, have 1,000 experience points, sort of deal,
Yeah.
as a party, and like that's super exciting, right? It's beyond just getting a monetary reward, right? And just kind of waiting. Did we level up yet? Did we level up yet? Did we level up yet? It's like for the DM to finally say yes, level up your characters, sort of deal.
Yeah.
It's like here, have an XP reward because you did something, like you discovered something, or you fought something unique, or something like that. With the entire theme of exploration being one of the primary things I kind of want in here in this game, that's uh, giving XP rewards for the exploration makes the most sense.
I do like that. I never, guys, I assume normally it's milestone, but you're right. Having encouraging exploration makes a lot of sense in
Mm-hmm.
giving XP that way. I like
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What balance of RP fights and space battles do you strive to have? So I guess what's the balance of your game going?
Um,
Exploration clearly part of it, but what do you think?
I want to have, like I said, a lot of exploration involved. Space battle, I'm kind of playing out the idea as to, okay, what do people want? I want this to, the game's going to be very sandboxy. There's going to
Uh-huh.
be a few plot hooks out there, and it's going to be the entire idea that the universe doesn't like stop just because the players decide to go off exploring an unknown region of space. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean the tensions between the Avera theocracy and the Elven Empire don't continue to escalate while you're not there.
Right.
So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And as a result of that, hold on 1 second here. I'm just gonna.
All right.
Sorry about that. I put a sign out there saying I'm recording. Leave me alone, sort of thing. And people still have a habit of just ignoring it and
Hey, what's
stepping
going
in.
on?
Yeah, it's like, hey, what's going on? It's like, whatever. Uh, I'll still leave it in there just for commentary. um, sorry about that. So yeah, I want the like I said, exploration sandbox. If you want to get involved in the political intrigue and the machinations going on over there, I'm gonna let you guys. It's like I'm not gonna stop you. Because it's going to be a bit more work with the fact that I'm going to create multiple plot hooks and sort of adventure hooks out there. But I think not only do I have the time to do it, but I think it'll be more rewarding because if you guys want to try to go save the universe by stopping a war from happening, you can. If you want to go to the far reaches of space and uncover long like uncover unexplored planets and long since abandoned civilization, like the ruins of civilizations long since abandoned, and reap the rewards of that. That's cool too. It's like you want to go hunting aberrations and demons in the far reaches of space. Go for it. It's all really up to the players as to what they want to do. For the beginning, I think I'll try to balance them as best I can. Put a fair bit of action in there, and if people want to move the game in one direction or another, adjust accordingly. Right?
Cool, cool. This one is specifically for Mike. I'm putting that out there right now before I
Mhm.
say it. He mentions this is a space rock opera, but does he plan on doing any singing?
I don't know, Mike. Do you plan on doing any singing? I'll throw that one right back at you. Are you
Just
gonna
play a
like
bard.
pick a bard or something like that and like be a intergalactic rock band? Because by God, if you guys want to be an intergalactic rock band, go for it. Sure to do. Go from like one planet to another, hosting your own concerts with hollow projectors beaming stuff down from the ship in orbit.
I just imagine the opera singer from Fifth Element. That's what I
Yeah,
want Mike to play.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Let's see if he can like has that sort of vocal range. Mike, got to
yeah,
start practicing.
get on it. So I've got two more for you.
Yeah.
What is your plan for homebrew rules? So, like, what are things that you specifically are like, this is how something that's new and interesting for my game that I'm running?
So as I've already pointed out in previous episodes, I'm taking a lot of content from the Dark Matter by Mage Press. Additionally, I've been taking some of the material from their Valdis Secrets of the Spire. Uh, So both of those are kind of like working fairly well so far. And I think the camera glitched out just briefly for like a second or two a few moments ago. I do apologize. So both of those are sort of third-party content. Additionally, there's what is it? Matt Colville has recently done a Kickstarter where he is creating this monster manual where he's introducing mechanics for stuff like minions and the like. I really like the idea of you guys go to a primitive backwater alien world and doing the Indiana Jones thing where you've stolen the alien artifact and you're fleeing and a
Right,
tribe
yeah.
of insectoid aliens are chasing after you. It's like just shooting backwards desperately and like because it's a swarm of minions. So yeah, you drop that one and the one next to it, but there's still like 100 or more of them chasing after you at this point. Um, so minion rules are going to be introduced. I have some ideas about concentration that I like the idea of when it comes to wizards and warlocks and sorcerers, basically any class. Uh, the idea that you can maintain concentration is always great. I find that the familiars in D&D in 5th edition are a bit lackluster, so in order to compensate for that, I've been playing around with the idea of permitting minions to maintain concentration on spells, especially with the fact that they can already be used as a conduit for touch-based spells and the like already, right?
Yeah.
I don't see any reason, and it would, in order to balance that out, you'd have because that can be a pretty game breaking of being able to maintain two concentration spells simultaneously. Make it a bit more dangerous. That you have to be a bit more protective of your familiar. Older versions of D&D had mechanics for that, where it's like you had to make like you could quite literally die if your familiar bit the like you have to make system shock rolls and fortitude
Oh,
saves and the whole 9 yards. What I'm thinking is with the familiars, if your familiar dies, if I give them the ability to maintain concentration for you, uh, making it so that you have to check a death save failure, even even if you're like at full hit points. All of a sudden, there's this. It's like part of your soul just all of a sudden died, right?
yeah.
So like there's this sudden gut wrenching pain that quickly subsides, but it's still like you can still feel the wound there, right? Which could play out very interesting if a character's already failed some death saves but is back up in the fray, and all of a sudden their familiar dies and then they just drop dead of a heart attack or something like that.
That's some cool risk reward. I like that.
Yeah, and like I said, you being able to maintain the concentration is a cool reward for that possibility per se. Um, Additionally, the Warlock Pact of the Chain familiars would need to have more hit points because
Yeah.
they're
Buff them
pretty
up a little bit.
screwed
Yeah.
otherwise.
So I've got one more for you,
Hmm.
and you've already answered this, I believe, but I am specifically saying this because I may be very interested.
Hmm.
So will the Ave Ra be a playable race? Which again, I believe you've already said, but
Yeah.
I want to know more about that. Just letting you know. But also, what other interesting playable races do you
So
foresee?
thus far, the ones that aside from like the core races that are available in D&D, as well as the additional ones that have been introduced by Wizards of the Coast, the ones I'm introducing from the dark matter setting are the amoeboids, the Ave Ra, the nautilids, the Vec, and the Scathari. Right. I haven't spoken about the Scathari yet, or the amoeboids. Uh, Wizards of the Coast recently did a what are they called? Not a Sages of Vice, but like an Unearthed Arcana or whatever for Spelljammer, and they had this sort of you're a sentient humanoid slime monster or whatever.
Hmm,
That's pretty much what an amoeboid is, and
gotcha.
the Scathari are in primitive insectoids that have made their way out into the space lanes. Beyond that, I have. Hold on, I got a cat trying to jump up on the
Up
computer.
on the camera. Yeah.
Beyond that, near humans, where we have a plethora of, rather than doing like half elves and half orcs and that, because humanity has, well, they proliferate fairly quickly and they adapt to their environments fairly easily as a result. They're just going to be way all around the universe, like on a high gravity world, they're going to be closer to dwarves. On a cold world, they might be covered in fur and look more like Wookiees, uh, and so forth and so forth. But in theory, if you want the science behind it, if you were to do a DNA test, they're all going to kind of like link back to some sort of common ancestor, perhaps. So
Interesting.
yeah, I haven't decided if I'm going to introduce anything else beyond that. I guess that would be if somebody's really got their heart set on something strange and exotic. This would be the campaign for it,
Yeah.
as the galaxy as a whole has just so many different opportunities beyond what you would normally have in a D&D campaign. Not to say that Isle of Misfits Roles by any stretch of the imagination is normal. We have like one human, and even she's pretty weird.
One normal PHB thing, and everyone else is weird. Well, even her, yeah, like you said, even she's weird. So
Yeah,
it's all good.
exactly.
Uh, that is all I have for you, though.
Okay, cool. That's great. I got some ideas as to what to do for next week. I'll probably end up doing a planet because those apparently are very exciting. I'm hoping to probably do this again, maybe on the 30th episode. Which don't know if you want to join us or whether I can hopefully get somebody else on here
Either
just to
way,
get some
works for me.
different input on the matter. But yeah, I'm glad that you're enjoying the uh, videos, and I'm glad whoever's watching this is probably enjoying. I'm hoping they're enjoying the video. But until next time, may all your D20s roll critical. Take care.